Kak, why do you sound native-ish? Assalamu'alaikum everyone, I hope you are all at peace. As you may know, I have been making videos in both Bahasa Indonesia and English for the past 2 years. And for a lot of my videos where I speak in English, I have received a lot of questions from you guys as to why I sound a little bit more native and does not have as much accent. Just as a disclaimer, I am still learning and there are still so many words that I mispronounce on a day-to-day basis. But in this video, I thought I could share with you guys 3 tips on how you can practice your English pronunciation skills. Now, before we begin, I would like to point out some outdated learning methods that I would recommend for everyone to avoid. The first is cramming as many words as possible. And I understand why you would want to do this, because in order for you to be able to say something in a sentence or in a paragraph, you need to know the words to actually say them out loud. The thing is, when you're only cramming as many vocabs as possible, it's hard to understand how you can apply them in specific context, and you end up having a lot of words without knowing how you can string them together. Now, the second thing that I'd like for everyone to avoid is having that fear that holds you back from actually using the language that you have been learning. And I understand this because, especially as a non-native speaker, sometimes we get so focused on the grammar, on the vocab, on actually saying it correctly. I understand because, you know, ideally as a human being would like to avoid public humiliation. But the thing is, I'd like for you guys to be a bit kinder to yourself. As non-native speaker, people know that we are learning. People know that we are not perfect, and therefore when we say something and it comes out incorrect, it doesn't matter because they still understand what you're trying to say. And if you say it out loud, chances are they might be able to help you correct your pronunciation or your grammar. And the last one is connected to the second one, which is not at all practicing. Focusing too much on the input and not putting as much work on the output. These are the 3 outdated learning methods that I'd like for you to avoid. And with that in mind, let's go to tips number 1. The first tip is to constantly consume content in English. And this can be anything. This can be YouTube videos, my videos, Netflix shows, TED Talks, podcasts, so many things. Especially in this day and age, I think you don't have a shortage of contents that are spoken in English. Now, the catch is, remember, you need to also focus on the output. It's not just the input. So while you're watching, what you need to do is to switch your subtitles or closed captions from Bahasa Indonesia or your native language to English so that you can also learn at the same time how each words are actually pronounced.
That is me. I want us to leave this world better than we found it.
Now this way, it's an audiovisual way of learning. You're listening how they're pronounced and you're also reading how they're pronounced. You know how they're spelled and you can also tell how they are used in a sentence or in a specific context. And I think this has been a really helpful way for me to learn English myself. Another way that you can learn the correct English pronunciation is by reading out loud. And you can do this by reading your favorite article, fan fictions in my case, or comic books. And while you're reading, instead of just, reading it silently, what you can do is to read out loud. In the summer prior to Hermione's 5th year at Hogwarts, her magic unexpectedly flares and erupts violently. According to the second language acquisition theory, reading out loud is actually a great help for you to learn English in 2 ways. Reading complete article is actually much better for you to learn English than reading single words or phonetics alone. And again, I think this has to do with understanding how each word works within specific context and knowing, how you can use them, where you can use them. And secondly, reading out loud can also help you with your oral fluency. And I think this makes sense in the same way that if you want to record your K-pop challenge video, which is a dance routine, and you need to practice it over and over and over again until you can get that great shot, speaking English is similar in the sense that you have to say the same words over and over and over again until it feels natural. So I'd like for everyone to give it a try and let me know how it works. Now, the second tip that I can offer you is for you to immerse yourself in an English-speaking environment. And the reason why I think this can help you so much is because unlike, TV shows or books where the words are scripted and a lot more poetic, surrounding yourself with English-speaking people can help you learn words that are more natural and are actually used on a day-to-day conversation. So I think it's a very practical way of learning, and it also helps you think quick on your feet, become more spontaneous, and also improvise in the words that you're going to say, because you can't rehearse something when it's, a regular conversation. So I think it's a good way of getting out from your comfort zone. What I love about this method is you definitely learn about phrases that you don't regularly see on, TV shows or in books. For example, when I first came to Japan, I remember talking to my friend who is from America, so she's a native speaker. And I think I did something or I said something, I'm not sure, but her response was, no, you're good. And I remember thinking, you're good? Like, what does you're good mean? And it wasn't until a little later when I finally asked her about it that she said you're good basically has the same meaning as don't worry about it or it's alright. And I thought it was so interesting because if you translate you're good to my native language, it means like a compliment in a way, but also a compliment that's very choppy and awkward. So I think that was one interesting way of learning English, and I don't think I would have, heard that phrase anywhere else. The thing is, I know that not everyone can find an English-speaking environment, and that's one downside to that. So I would recommend that you can start by maybe speaking English to your English teacher. This is one way that you can also try to immerse yourself in an English-speaking environment. And the last tip that I want to share with you today is learning English by using the Lava reading app. And the reason why I recommend this for you guys is because it's your go-to app to learn English pronunciation correctly in a simple way. The Lava reading app supports your English learning experience in 3 ways. Firstly, it can help you learn English by using the reading out loud method. It's also helping you learn in a fragmented way, so you can decide your own pace. And lastly, it has an AI reading identification feature that can help correct your English pronunciation in real time. Now, in this application, you can learn English from various classic literature, and the app divides all the literature into 3 levels based on the difficulty. So you can choose one that's easiest for you depending on where you're at right now. So this is what the app looks like, and as you can see, there are the easy reading, middle level, and also the high level, the advanced one. And I was wondering if maybe we can go take a look at the advanced one because I think there was a book that I was interested in. So let's try Pride and Prejudice. So as you can see, it starts from chapter 1, and this is what I mean by it being, a fragmented learning method. You learn it piece by piece, so you can take it in as you like, and you can just take as much as you can in a day. You don't have to overwhelm yourself by finishing a whole chapter right away. Now, before we use the AI feature, which I'm sure a lot of you are excited about, I want to show you the learning mode. And the reason why I think this is the right way to start is because for a lot of you who are still new and are not sure on how a lot of words are pronounced, the learning method can help you get a grasp of how each word should sound like, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. The learning mode on, and we can listen to the recording first.
It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife.
Okay, so now that we have listened to it, we're gonna try to say that, and if you look at the app, you'll see that depending on whether or not you pronounce something correctly, it's going to show you based on the color coding system. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Okay, so as you can see, as I read that paragraph, because I did not make any mistakes, all of the colors changed to blue. Now, if you mispronounce something, for example, like this, the app is currently recording my voice and I'm supposed to be reading the second paragraph out loud, but because I'm talking to you guys, it thinks that I'm pronouncing something incorrectly. So this word, however, changed into gold instead. And so this is what it means by the AI automatic pronunciation correction feature. It can immediately pick up on what you're saying, identify whether it is correct or incorrect, and it's going to tell you based on the color coding system, which I think is pretty cool. If you mispronounce something, then it's going to turn gold. And something cool that you can do with this is that you can tap the word
Objection.
and you can listen to it again and again. And if you want to keep it in your, vocab list, then you can just give it a star and it's successfully added into your arsenals. After you're done with each chapter, the app will also give you statistics. So it'll tell you how many words per minute you managed to correctly say in English or how fast you read that chapter, and then later on you can move on to the next chapter. Now the last thing that I love about this app is that it can help you learn English while also building your reading habit at the same time, which I think especially today when our attention span is kind of limited to 1 minute TikTok video or 1 minute Reels Shorts video, it's a good way of keeping us focused again for a long period of time. Through its collection like The Pride and Prejudice, The Great Gatsby, Alice in Wonderland, all great classics, I think you'll find great joy in delving yourself in these tales as well. Now, if you want to read them without learning, so you want this to just be like an ebook for you, that is also completely possible. What you can do is just, pick a book and then you can just turn on the reading mode. And you can just read. Also, it has a library collection, so you can find all of the books that you read in the library section and you can just pick up from where you left off. I believe this is a great app for junior students, high school students, college, even for working people who don't have much time to dedicate themselves to English speaking, learning, or practice. And with this app, you can just take 5, 10, 15 minutes out of your day, practice, and then you can just continue with your daily activities like normal. So it's highly recommended and I'd like for you to give it a try. And so that is the 3 ways that you can improve your English pronunciation. But I would also like to remind you that everybody has different learning methods. What worked out for me may not work out for you. So what I'd like for you to do from this video is to pick the right method, because as long as you have the correct method for you, then learning English or mastering the language is not going to feel so difficult anymore. And once you master English, it's going to open up so many opportunities for you at school, in your life, or even in your workplace. And I can say this because I have experienced it myself, and I can truly say that being able to speak English have given me tremendous opportunities that I would have never have had otherwise. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has been informational for you, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye! Happy practicing!